the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any changes to the agenda? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Who would like to second?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, no public comment, it looks like. Announcements?
There are no announcements.
Then approval of the July 30th, 2024 meeting minutes. I didn't notice anything. I thought they looked pretty good. I don't know if anybody else saw anything.
I didn't see anything. I'll
Okay.
make a motion to approve.
All right,
I'll second it.
all right, Brad seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public hearings. Zoning ordinance amendment title 11-5-5, fences application requirements.
So the changes to the ordinance were essentially just to remove the option for a site plan. So now we are requiring an actual certificate of survey. That's the only change.
Okay. So I'll open the public hearing at 7:08 PM. Can I close it?
Yeah, you can close it.
All right. No one's in attendance, so I'll close the public hearing at 7:09 PM. Okay, anyone have questions on the change?
No, I think that's probably a good idea because
Yeah.
people worry about where they think their property line is. So.
Yeah, and in practice, we've been requiring a survey, but we kind of caught that in the language. It allowed for a survey or a site plan, so if somebody would have pressed us on it,
They just got to find their stakes too, right? Or is it the actual?
we require that they be able to identify their property pins before they place a fence.
Yeah, the stakes. Yep. Okay.
Yep. And we do an inspection before we allow the fence to go in.
What if a pin is missing?
Then you have to hire a surveyor to place the pin.
Okay. I'm missing a pin. Okay,
Okay.
so you just need an approval from us?
Recommendation to the
Okay.
city council.
Okay,
I'll make a recommendation for the change in the zoning ordinance amendment for fences.
okay,
So moved.
all right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, general business. A draft zoning ordinance amendment, detached accessory structures.
See that. So we've been discussing this since February of this year. Discussions so far provided us with several recommendations to include in any potential ordinance amendment. So we compiled all those recommendations from over the months for final review before the commission, before our public hearing is scheduled. We've spent this much time on it, so I just kind of wanted to have one more meeting, get everything in order, make sure we're good to go before we take this to public hearing. So the recommendations are as follows. There's 7 of them. So we're going to amend the definition for height to just the vertical distance to be measured from the grade of the finished building to the highest point of the roof. For properties 1 acre and under, 1,000 square foot maximum floor area allowed. Remove all language related to conditional use permits. The same for properties greater than 1 acre, except it's 2,000 square foot maximum floor area allowed. No more than 2 detached accessory buildings per lot in residential zones, except by conditional use permit. Maximum building height for detached accessory structures increased to 20 feet, must not exceed the height of the principal structure. No access or driveway requirements shall be enacted for any of the accessory use structures. Detached accessory dwelling units, or ADUs, shall be considered the same as detached accessory buildings for size standards. So if changes are recommended tonight, staff will draft a final ordinance amendment for discussion at an upcoming meeting for public hearing. It's already drafted actually, so unless there's changes, I think we're all set to go next month.
Was there something about siding and shingles, or I mean that it matches, or?
Yeah, that's already in.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it would have.
So yeah, it's 2 pages, and we're actually try to simplify the ordinance, and I think this accomplishes that.
I thought it looked good.
Yeah.
I don't know if others, okay. So we just need a recommendation to,
You can just, I don't even think we need that, just,
No.
we got the feedback and direction, no changes.
I do have one question. So we're talking about matching the housing structures and whatnot. So is that gonna eliminate a lot of the like metal buildings?
That's already not allowed,
Okay,
so we don't
perfect.
allow.
okay,
Okay,
Yep.
we'll schedule a public hearing for next month's meeting, go from there.
perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, B, draft zoning ordinance amendment residential district landscaping requirements.
This item came up in the July meeting. Towards the end of the meeting, several commissioners discussed desire to expand the list of trees that currently count towards the 2 required trees for lots of new subdivisions and existing residential lots. So staff reached out to Bolton and Mink to see if he had any recommendations for additional species that would do well in the city. Here's the list he provided us. So we have pictures here to go with all of their examples. Ohio buckeye. His notes were it's a good medium-sized tree. There's no real cons there. Northern cactelpa, if I'm saying that right. It's another pretty tree. It's good for lawn or streets, but it does have seed pods, so that's something to consider. A frontier elm is a species of elm that's Dutch elm disease resistant, as well as the patriot elm. Bitternut hickory, and also has some large fruit seeds. It's native tree to southern Minnesota, and it's considered underplanted generally. Little leaf linden.
Say
And
that fast multiple times.
red maple. It's especially good for wet sites. Mountain ash, it's actually not an ash tree, and the berries can be messy. This would be an ornamental tree. The only one he recommended for addition. And the coniferous tree that's recommended to be removed is actually already covered under the spruce species line. So we're not getting rid of any trees with this recommended list, just adding. So if there's any discussion on any of the trees in particular, or if you're kind of in favor of going with all of them, we can draft up a.
What's wrong with the Black Hill spruce now?
What's wrong with Black
Yeah.
Hills? Nothing.
Okay.
It's just, it was on there twice, basically.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was listed out as Black Hill spruce, and then spruce species was right below it.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
I think it looks good. Thanks for looking into that.
Yeah, no problem, it's always kind of an interesting thing.
And so if any trees are not on this list, they're not able to be planted, is that
Oh,
correct?
they can be planted.
Okay.
We have a prohibited list, those are the only trees that cannot be planted.
Other trees can be if they're not on
They
this
can be,
list.
they just won't count towards the 2 required trees that
Got it,
he has to plant.
okay. I'm good with the list of changes. Okay,
Okay,
great.
thank you.
Thank you. All right, C, draft zoning ordinance amendment cannabis regulation.
Just getting set up here quick. Okay, so the context of this, I think I had just in my mind, I'll go through this PowerPoint presentation, and then I'll have some recommendations needed from you guys at the end. And then if you just want to ask me anything cannabis-related questions that you might have, that could be good too at the end. All right, so in May of 2023, cannabis was legalized in Minnesota.
You have to share it?
Is it not?
Just a second.
Lame.
Let's share a different screen.
That's on me. All right, cool. All right, so in 2023, cannabis was legalized in Minnesota. The law went into effect on August 1st of that year, and then upcoming in 2025, the licenses will begin to be dispersed from the Office of Cannabis Management. So this new law allows for 13 different types of businesses, business licensing related to cannabis, each fulfilling a unique role in the cannabis and hemp supply chain. So hemp plants and marijuana plants are both the same species. Legally, hemp is defined as a cannabis plant that contains 0.3% or less THC, while marijuana is over 0.3% THC. And I just want to put a little note here on the first slide saying that you'll see information regarding outdoor cultivation, but we're trying to avoid having that anywhere in the city, but I'm waiting on Andrea to let me know if that's going to be okay or not. All right, so now I'm just going to go through the definitions of all the different businesses so you guys know what I'm talking about. A micro business, it can cultivate cannabis and manufacture the products and package them for sale to customers or another licensed cannabis business. They can only operate one single retail location, and it includes also indoor cultivation of plants up to 5,000 square feet. A meso business may operate up to 3 retail locations, and it includes cultivation of up to 15,000 square feet. The only caveat is that the retail locations can't be on the same site as the grow operation. A cultivator is just what it sounds like. It cultivates cannabis, packages it for sale to another licensed retailer most of the time, and it includes indoor cultivation of up to 30,000 square feet. A manufacturer, the middleman, may manufacture the cannabis products and package the products for sale to a licensed retailer. And the retailer itself, otherwise known as a dispensary, sells the immature cannabis plants, seedlings, cannabis products, hemp products, and any other products that are authorized by the OCM. A wholesaler may produce and/or sell immature cannabis plants and seedlings, cannabis, or their products from another licensed cannabis business. Wholesalers may also import hemp-derived consumer products and lower-potency hemp edibles. A transporter transports the immature cannabis plants and the seedlings to other licensed cannabis businesses. Testing facility, they may obtain and test the immature plants, seedlings, products, and hemp products from licensed cannabis businesses. An event organizer, they have the ability to organize temporary cannabis events that last no more than 4 days. Delivery service, purchase it, and then with the retail endorsement, they're allowed to transport and deliver to customers. Medical cannabis combination business, they can cultivate, they can manufacture, and then they can package and sell the goods. And they can have up to one retail location in each congressional district. Then lower potency hemp edible manufacturer, they manufacture and package just lower potency hemp edibles for consumer sale and sell hemp concentrate and lower potency hemp edibles to other cannabis businesses. And same thing here, except they're the retailer. Okay, so here's where I need your guys' direction. So this is kind of the main one I wanted from you at least, and then just a general one after this. So does the Planning Commission want to establish a buffer zone prohibiting the operations of any cannabis business within a certain distance of schools, daycares, residential treatment facilities, parks, or other cannabis retail businesses? And I thought we'd just go through these 1 through 3, and the 0 to 1,000, the 1,000 is the maximum that we are allowed to regulate based on the statute. So I figure we'll just start with the first one. Do we want to have any stipulations on a buffer zone for schools? Obviously, right now, we have the one school, but this ordinance will be here for as time goes on, so kind of have to think about that in that frame, too.
I would say 1,000 feet, but,
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Do we have any other, regulations for liquor stores?
No?
Okay, then I guess, why not? They're both legal.
I agree with Casey on that one. If there aren't any restrictions, if we didn't do that for alcohol, why would
I don't
we
think
do
you
that for cannabis?
I agree 100%.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
Do it for alcohol if we don't, but
No. But then again, too, if we're not going to allow growing at home, do we allow people to brew their own beer at home?
We do allow growing at home, actually. It's part of the statute. They can have up to,
Okay.
I think it's 6 plants.
Okay.
So,
The growing is basically being on site in the location
right, in this context,
old, right?
yes.
Or nearby.
Oh, okay,
Right.
gotcha.
So an individual can grow at home up to 6 plants, but this is just
Business.
For the
Yeah.
business.
businesses, yeah.
Different,
For personal use.
yeah.
Yeah.
So really, we don't have any, between liquor stores or schools or daycares, we don't have any? I did not realize that.
Thought about that.
I just think that'd be rude, no.
It did it,
I mean,
I
they're-
agree,
if
that makes
kids are
sense.
gonna
Why are
find-
we
I don't,
regulating it if we're not
we
regulating
had
it?
something regulating explicit business
Yes.
at one time.
Okay.
Yes, we have that, right?
Yeah, the only item that we have, like buffer distances from other uses is sexually oriented businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my concern at doing this now is would we also be limiting those that medicinal cannabis, like dispensaries, like that don't do recreational but just do medicinal? Would we be zoning them out if we were to do something like this?
It's my interpretation that they all fall under the same umbrella,
Oh.
so yes.
Do you see much by our schools? I mean, I don't know about commercial or industrial grow facility by our school even, because we have it zoned for mostly residential around
Right.
it. So
Yeah.
that's why I say, I don't think it's a real problem. We could even say liquor stores too, if you wanted to, or go into the liquor.
But that would be,
thing,
yeah,
but That's a different subject, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that if you want to be equal with it, I mean,
I'm not sure.
I just don't see anything going to be built
right.
by our school that
Correct.
would be industrial or.
That would work within the,
Kind of,
Well,
the closest potential retail area where it could be retailed is, we have some area along County Road 2 and County Road 27, kind of, down from the firehouse, but closer to the County Road 27 intersection. So it could be quarter mile or so, maybe not quite.
the Newmarket Downtown District, I mean, how does that limit them from like the church, the parks? I guess I don't even know how many parks are this way.
right.
I just don't think you should limit it. I mean, I'm not a user, but I just think if it's gotta be fair either way.
I agree with you. It shouldn't be one or the other, it should be.
Well, how about, for example, or context, say in the strip mall, right over here with the Anytime Fitness or whatever that is. Now, what if there's a dispensary or somebody wants to explore that as an option? So would that be an option, or would, I don't, or
With
are the
some limitations
houses?
of it, yeah.
Yes, I don't know how close the homes are right there to that, and they're pretty close.
Yeah.
But then again,
But it's not homes,
No.
it was
to
daycare.
daycare, yeah, but somebody
school.
could have a residential daycare. I know that when we were interviewing daycares, there were 3 back there, by the way, so I don't want to ruin anybody's business, but is there enough distance, say, between that mall and the nearest homes to be able to?
We got a whole new strip mall that's down there
Right.
already. There could be a daycare and a dispensary in that whole strip mall. So
Correct,
I don't think you should limit it.
okay.
I just don't know how well the daycare would do.
Well, it really, I mean, realistically, I'm just trying to think like in a bigger picture, right? So if someone were to open this type of business and there is a daycare, I don't know that they would necessarily look at that location. They might be a little bit choosy, maybe the daycare would be a little bit choosy. I don't know, I guess.
I think.
And that's up to the business operator. And
I agree with you. I think another way to look at it too is that, if we're comparing it to liquor, like, it would be easier for somebody in a daycare to get into a liquor store than it would be to get into a cannabis store.
Correct.
The amount of security there is unbelievable.
Yes.
So, just thought I'd throw it out there.
I don't think we should limit it.
I don't think so either. I think if we do, it's kind of picking on one and not the other.
Just
to add to whoever's point about the distance between the strip malls, it's 1,000 feet, includes a lot of houses for both strip malls. So.
Doesn't change my mind.
No, no, I don't think it should be limited. I don't know how others feel.
Okay.
Well, I heard a 3 to 2, I heard 32, so I guess I don't know where you two sit on
I
that.
feel there should be some distance, but I don't know.
Yes,
I would agree, maybe some distance, but again, with the liquor stores, it's hard to pick on one and not the other. I see where you're coming from on that.
If a sixth grader came into a cannabis store, I'm sure the
I
worker,
doubt that would even,
right, I'm just,
they're easier to get into the liquor store, like he said.
Yeah, they have
They used to have
security
suckers
at the
back in
door.
day in the liquor store.
Yeah, that's
For
something
retail
too.
operations, do they have to have? security?
Retail operations have to have a
A doorman.
security guard who checks IDs.
But
a little different.
there are three different items. There's schools, there's parks, residential, daycare. I mean, you could put numbers on each one or no numbers on any of them.
I'm voting no numbers on either one of them.
Same.
Okay.
I'm against that idea, but.
That's totally fine, that's what this is for, so.
All right, I hear a 3-2, and I will bring that recommendation to the council that we are interested in no buffer zones. Okay, awesome.
I do think it's important that the council know that it wasn't unanimous.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give them all the context for sure. Okay, and then the final kind of, I don't know how to ask this, I guess, or if, just an open-ended, what's your opinion? Do we see anything that seems like it doesn't make sense here? Or if you want my logic behind why I might have done something? And then overall, get to the point of recommending that this, or some different variation of this would be recommended to the city council.
This is just showing where everything's permitted. P means permitted. No
Yep.
Kind
Being,
of
yep.
special permission and conditional use permit that would require city council approval.
Mhm.
So as you can see here, we're basically guiding, except for just the retail part of it, the manufacturing, warehouse, distribution of the plants to the industrial type zoning districts.
Yep.
The I-1 and the I-2 districts are on basically the east side of the interstate, but that B6 campus, that would be a zoning district that would be eligible on the west side of the interstate on the Edelman property. And if you want to bring us, we could bring up the comprehensive plan map to show you where that would be allowed, but
Isn't that also on the corner up here too? By the roundabout?
All right.
no,
got it.
that is, that would be B5. So you can see that there's the retail operations we're basically suggesting that they be permitted in any retail zoning district. It's kind of like a tobacco shop or, it's just retail.
Well, what about the B5 then?
B5 is your general commercial district that you'll see along County Road 2, going out towards the interstate. You might see that same district out near the corner of County Road 2 and 27 on the far west side of the community as we grow that way. So that corridor along County Road 2 is where we would see B5. B4 is going to be right out at the interchange highway. It's called the highway commercial.
Are you trying to share that?
Could you, the comp plan map would be better. Okay.
Oh,
Can you actually go into the comp plan? I think there's a couple different, yeah, there. Oh, I'm sorry, can you go back? Yeah, go down to the land use chapter. And that one, that was updated 10-1, oh, go back up. Chapter 6, right, yeah, Up to, two up. Okay, so, can you point out on, because does your mouse work on?
Yeah, I can see his mouse.
Okay,
Yep.
Oh, I see.
okay. So, can you point out the, business limited industrial on the Edelman property? That light pink, not that one, that next one. Up, yeah, that light, all that light pink. Yeah, there, and then south of two, that light pink.
Okay.
Okay.
So the manufacturing, warehouse, distribution could be permitted on a smaller scale in those areas,
Okay.
on a bigger scale on the east side of the interchange.
Okay.
And then pretty much anywhere you see pink or blue along the County Road 2 corridor, retail would be allowed.
And
Would you concur?
Yeah,
we don't have any
definitely.
regulations on like smoke shops, like tobacco shops or anything like that, right?
Oh, we had
Excuse
one
me?
downtown at one time.
We don't have any, like,
No.
when you mentioned, like a tobacco shop, it just clicked in my head, like, we don't have any regulations on that, like, for distance or
No.
anything like that.
No.
No.
When I was going through the ordinance and creating these, I compared it exactly like it was
Okay.
like it wasn't cannabis, was what
Right.
I was thinking by frame,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and we really had that same thing in mind, where especially when we were talking about the retail,
Right.
where liquor or tobacco shops would be allowed, that this could kind of be similar, the retail part of it.
Yeah.
The manufacturing
Sure.
warehouse distribution is different. There are smells associated with
Right.
the growing, so we,
More
Testing
industrial. and-
lab, maybe?
Right, so the smells associated with it is a big deal, and that's kind of why we chose to go the conditional use permit route for all of it, so we can make sure that we add adequate, stipulations to air scrubbers or filtration,
And that makes sense.
and especially with the lingering question of, can we prohibit outdoor grow completely, then it's just a safer route for us to take.
And that's what that caveat is. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
so we've talked about it internally, and we think if there are outdoor grow operations, maybe they belong out in the country, like
Sure.
in
I-
Market
yeah.
Township. Yeah, or in a rural area, not in a urban city.
Right. Okay.
So we're not suggesting that be permitted.
I agree with that.
I agree as well.
Yep.
I think what you had in that
It makes sense.
spreadsheet, it makes sense.
Okay.
I gotta ask the question, can we have a brewery, like, in downtown?
It's whatever matched up, you can answer it better than I can, Renee, but
'Cause that's
Yeah,
the
your
same thing.
your typical brewery, like,
B2?
No,
yeah,
they don't do who?
No, it's B2.
B2
So
downtown.
it can go anywhere B2.
Yeah, there are a number, kind of like cannabis stores, there are a number of different types depending on how much you make, the volume that you're manufacturing. So not all of them would be allowed downtown, but, and I can pull up the zoning ordinance to,
How about
Say,
a
but-
microbrew or something?
yeah.
Yeah, like Angry Inch,
Yeah.
or Lakeville
Yep.
Brewing, stuff like that.
Yeah, like that would be allowed in our downtown.
Okay.
Has the township discussed this at all?
The county's working on their ordinance.
yeah, and the county and us are still in conversations about who's gonna take over, like, the license registration aspect of it. So that's kind of the big question we're waiting to get answered right now.
How does it work in other towns and counties? Not
We're
sure.
pretty ahead. I don't have many comparables at all,
Okay.
so,
I'm just curious.
yeah.
For liquor and tobacco, the city licenses liquor businesses. It's a separate business license that's issued by the city council. You have to meet certain criteria, background checks and stuff like that. For tobacco, the county is doing our licensing for us
Okay.
currently. I think we would support the county
Absolutely.
doing the licensing for the cannabis as well, but
Sure.
we don't know that yet.
We have a meeting with them next month to discuss it, so.
Okay.
And you're still exploring municipal cannabis dispensary, no? We're
Nope,
not
city
anymore.
council shut that down. So we're no longer going in that direction.
Well,
For now, they said at least.
the revenue would have been nice.
It would have, but I don't want to speak for the council, but I think the general consensus was that the risk was too large and the upfront cost was a lot.
And, yeah, Brandon worked with a consultant to help guide the city through that process. It was very
Yeah,
expensive.
phase one was $30,000, and that's before even getting into location type like thing. So it was going to be a really expensive venture, and I guess that they didn't want to put their eggs all into that basket. So
And there might be competition, there might be a lot of, the new thing, there might be a lot of people looking to start businesses, and some members of the council just adamantly didn't feel that government should be competing with private business. So
definitely.
I think it was kind of a combination of those two reasons.
Okay. Well, Northfield is going for a municipal dispensary.
Are they?
Yeah,
I saw them in the work group earlier or last week. Yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting.
yeah. A great,
Right,
Tax
Lakeville
revenue.
wouldn't, because they
They're-
probably will, because they
All
got
their
liquor
liquor stores are.
It's a lot less enticing for cities over 12,500 population because, you can maximize the amount of licenses for 12,000 and under. So we could say everybody else can only get one, but we also get one. So with Lakeville, I think bigger cities would have way more competition and the market would become quickly saturated, is my personal opinion.
so come to Northfield.
Right, so unless there's any other questions or anything, I'll recommend to the council that, or I'll pass along your recommendation to the council that the zoning placed before you today was acceptable. Yeah, okay, awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, miscellaneous community development updates.
I really don't have any updates. A couple of projects that we're working on that might be at the next meeting, at the next planning commission meeting is, if you recall, Parkway Meadows, the development north of City Hall off the east end of James Parkway. The city council approved the preliminary plat on that development with the conditions that the planning commission recommended, which was the elimination of 3 of the lots and adding that to the park dedication, and a temporary cul-de-sac at the south end of Riley Road. The developers continued to analyze the development based on those recommendations, and he's trying to, apparently it's really tight with costs, so he has indicated he's going to be applying for an amendment to the preliminary plat to kind of adjust the layout on the south half of the site. So that might be before you next month. And then we are working with a developer who has submitted a concept plan for Dakota Acres Second Edition. We might be bringing that back. Or next month, it's to be determined.
For more townhouses? or-
So, yeah, right now, I think there was 18 townhomes and then an apartment building, a 36-unit apartment building as well, all on the same site. So I don't think it's coming next month.
Next
I
month.
don't think we'll be ready.
Yeah.
No. It's very preliminary. It's like a one-page concept plan at this point.
Yeah.
So.
I would agree.
Dakota, where's that?
North of
On the
the,
way to school.
It's on James
on the way
Parkway,
to the
Oh, okay.
school.
All right.
Those townhouses up.
where that
that
exit
way.
just got closed. Or, yeah, the entrance
Yeah.
exit.
Yeah. So then
That
outside
looks
of that, I
nice.
think,
Yeah, now it does.
so we'll for sure have the public hearing on the detached accessory structure ordinance, the public hearing on the cannabis ordinance, and the public hearing on the landscaping requirements, for sure.
Okay.
What's happening with Barsness
Yeah, that's
property?
exactly what I was just gonna ask.
It was purchased, so it's no longer Barsness's property.
Okay.
Nick Neeson, who owns End Zone,
Yep.
and then, what's the last name?
Brian Casina.
Casina from New Prague. They don't really have any plans at this point, but they're just kind of in there looking at the property and taking down some trees.
Who's doing the maintenance of the silt fence on the roadway?
That should be Nick.
Yeah, we did talk to them a little bit about that, but,
Who's the enforcer, I guess?
well,
What's the enforcement behind it? I guess there is none, or?
We can send him a letter. I don't
I think it'd be initially a phone call. We met with them one time. It was just kind of an introductory meeting and went over what the guidance was under the comprehensive plan, what it could be used for today under the current guidance. And they just kind of took the information, it seemed, really wanting to work with the city, but I don't know that they themselves have plans to develop it. I think they might be trying to find a developer for the site. But as far as any erosion, if there are issues, sometimes there have been at the driveway when in heavy rains, some kind of washing out onto the county road. So we've kind of been jointly working between Public Works and the
Well, I
county.
guess it would be, it was the Barsnesses at one time that I don't know if they were enforced upon or,
We were doing enforcement action on them before they passed.
I guess it's got to be maintained, so.
Yeah, well, I think it'll look better now with the current owner, but I think they'll be easy to work with.
Did they buy the equipment with it, or
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah.
leftover pieces of equipment come with the property?
I brought that up at our meeting with them,
Yeah.
and it sounded like the Barsness family is gonna get those out of there at some point.
All right.
Any other questions? Yeah, I don't have a lot of updates, so.
I don't have any. Does anybody else? Okay. Anyone want to
Do you
make?
have any township updates?
Yeah, I was thinking, it's been a very quiet summer.
Yeah.
Really nothing new, nothing to talk about. And the last meeting, we did talk about some of the roads that you and I have talked about and that you brought up in here about maybe sharing or swapping or something with the township. And I think Kate or Doug said they're gonna reach out to you.
Okay.
You haven't heard from them yet.
I have not heard from them, and it's
I think it was something that was gonna be done.
yeah. It's definitely on my to-do list too. It's actually on my list for, every day it keeps getting pushed, but to contact your township attorney. I talked to Doug DQ about, well, specifically Harvest Drive and annexing. It becomes problematic when we annex right away that is in the township because, most of your residents own to the center of the road. And then it creates a split of their parcel, and there's there's problems with that or challenges with that, of splitting somebody's parcel into two legal descriptions, and DQ just suggested that I talk with your attorney about it.
That did come up in,
And then it's tentative that Tom Terry would maybe come to your next meeting on Tuesday, if there's room for him yet, next Tuesday. So that kind of needs to be worked out this week, but that's one thing on my to-do list here.
yeah, other than that,
How's the YMCA been?
very quiet. We haven't heard, there was so much squawking
How about
about it
before?
we had, and since it's been in. Yeah, very transparent, very quiet. Pleasantly.
How are the new pickleball courts? Are you trying to keep those a secret?
We used a lot, we're letting people know.
At the town hall?
Yeah.
Nice.
And every time I go by, there's people in the
That's awesome.
This is town
town
hall.
hall. Yeah,
That's
park.
great.
Awesome.
Good for you. Yeah. We were notified this afternoon that Niagara has hired a plant manager for the plant, and they have some of their other jobs posted on Deed's website this time.
See, they're putting lines in over there, or water lines or something.
For the street,
Probably
How
for
big
the
is
street.
that building again? I can't recall. We saw it on paper, but I.
425?
Or what?
425,000 square feet.
How big was Amazon?
About 850,000 square feet.
This looks like a lot of football fields.
Yeah.
It's what you do. If you were in there, I'm sure it would be huge. So just
It's like 10 acres under one roof, so.
Interesting. Nice to see it, it went up so fast. I'm surprised they could grade and then put walls up right away.
Yeah,
I saw Target, when they built Target, it fell down.
really?
They built the Target up here.
Really?
One wall caved
Oh, wow.
as they were building it.
I didn't know that.
Were you around for that?
Yeah, I saw that, yeah. Yeah.
'Cause, you
I
know,
forgot
grade
about that.
was moved and
Yeah. I don't know exactly what happened, but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Good.
Anyone want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anyone want a second?
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, meeting adjourned at 7:48 PM. Thanks. everyone.
Recording stopped.